Hey all, Blake here with another video, and today I received a really exciting delivery of this 15 gallon or 57 litre Fluval Flex aquarium kit. I believe this is one of the best kits you can recommend to beginners or experienced hobbyists alike looking to set up a nice low maintenance, easy planted aquarium. As such, I thought I'd show you today the unboxing and setup, let you know some of the quirks and give you some tips for best success. So let's jump straight into the video. Okay, so first of all, we have to get this big beast out of the box. And to do that, today's weapon of choice here is the rainbow knife. So go ahead and just get this unboxed. I'll let you know that Fluval did send me this aquarium. I did pay for the aquarium, but they've also sent me some extra goodies there, which will tie nicely into the end of this video. Okay, so now that we've unleashed the box from within the box, this is how we're going to see it typically displayed in our local fish store. We'll just have a little bit of a look at the packaging before we open it up. As you can see, we do have white and RGB LED lights on this kit. So the lighting is great. I know that there's a picture on the front of some what looks to be HC grass and a beautifully aquascaped dragonstone sort of setup. I do have some doubts about that, but by the same token, I've seen a plethora of beautifully planted aquariums in the Fluval Flex kits, having some thriving colonies of cryptocorynes and other medium to low light plants. So I think that's going to be the best recommendation for setting up an aquarium like this. In terms of controlling the light, there is a remote control as well included with this kit, and there's a huge amount of adjustability and refinement that can be done to the light included in this kit. So I think that's something that sets this kit outside of the box, and usually you just have on off, maybe a blue and a white setting, and that's it. So with this kit, you're going to get all of the adjustability that you'll like, so you'll be able to get it to the perfect color that you're after. So I've chosen to go with the 15 gallon or 57 litre Fluval Flex kit because I think that gives enough water volume to be a bit forgiving, especially for beginners. However, if you're looking for something smaller or bigger, there is also a 9 gallon / 34 litre Fluval Flex, and there's a huge 32 gallon or 123 litre larger Fluval Flex as well. And the good thing about that one is it's actually longer rather than taller or deeper, so you're still going to be able to get in there nice and easily and manage your aquascape. There are minor differences in those, but in terms of the lighting, the smaller or 9 gallon has 36 LEDs, this one has 48 LEDs, and then the 32 gallon has 64 LEDs. This kit aquarium here is called a bow front style tank, which I believe is the origination from the name Flex, because it looks like the water is sort of pushing out that front pane of glass, causing it to flex. I typically am not a fan of bow front aquariums, but that's usually because they are bowed around horizontally rather than vertically. Whereas this model I actually really quite like, because the benefits of a bow front is that it's going to have a unique look to it and actually magnify your fish and aquascape, whereas you're not going to have any of the difficulties that other bow front aquariums have, such as cleaning the corners because there are no corners, they're curved, such as distortion looking from the side. You are going to have a little bit of that, but typically people move side to side looking at bow front aquariums, especially long ones, where you don't typically look up and down, or if you do, it's just going to help you to sort of magnify what you're trying to look for. So I think they've got all the benefits with none of the drawbacks of bow front aquariums, and I actually really like the thought behind putting it this way. If we turn the box around now, we can have a look at the filtration system. So being a kit aquarium, it does have inbuilt filtration. I like that there's heaps of space in it. You can contain your heater at the back there if you like, get that out of the way, so it's, you don't have an unsightly heater staring you in the face. I also like that there's compact filtration area. You just slot the Biomax and whatever chemical media you want to put in the gaps of the large filter sponge. The other thing that I really like about this is sometimes with these built-in filtration kits, you'll get a grate at the top for the water to flow into, but this one has a grate included at the bottom. The reason that I really like that is because First of all, it's going to help to draw in that detritus and other uneaten food that's on the bottom of the aquarium, which is often difficult with just the top overflow. Second of all, it's going to be a lot more forgiving as well if your water level does drop below that top grade. I know some of us, you know, ideally you'd never have that happen, but everyone gets busy, everyone has times where they just forget to do things, so it's a great backup to have that at the bottom of the intake as well. From there it flows through the filter media up to the pump, and then it's pumped back into the aquarium. Really straightforward setup, but it looks to be pretty spacious, looks to have lots of options for modification, and overall I'm pretty pleased with that design. Just a couple more things I'd like to mention. We'll spin the box around one more time. So on the top of the aquarium we have the infrared sensor for the remote control for our light. We have also a little feeding hatch, and we have outflow nozzles that are able to be adjusted in direction, so we can point them to wherever we want flow, whether that be directly at the substrate to clean up all that food or get that up into the water column, or if we want it sort of at the wall so that we don't have a huge amount of flow blowing our fish all around. So I think that's enough talking now. Let's get this out of the box and start to take a look, and we'll run through how I'm going to set it up today. Inside, very important, you get a foam underlay. This is, I believe, EVA foam, and the first thing that we're going to do is sit the aquarium on top of this. The purpose of this foam is just to reduce, you know, any little pebbles or pieces of sand or anything that might create a pressure point on the bottom of this aquarium and crack the glass. Okay, now that that's done, also inside the aquarium we have our setup booklet and instruction manual right here. So if you ever have any issues, just consult that manual. You also get in the kit 2 of these fine grates. Basically the slots on these are just a bit smaller, so you can clip them into the inlet and outlet of your new Fluval Flex, and it will just save sucking in any of your nano fish if you keep fish smaller than the size of the intake, or if your fish are likely to have babies such as guppies, it will save the babies from getting sucked in. Next compartment, they have our foam filter block here, which has some activated carbon at the top and the Fluval Biomax ceramic rings at the bottom. I've just left the carbon in the bag because otherwise we'll have a lot of black carbon dust all over the place, so that would not be ideal for this unboxing. So that goes in the middle compartment there, and we do also have a handy handle as well to be able to easily pull out this filter block, so that's really good to see as well. And in the last compartment we have a box which will contain the remote control as well as the pump for the return. The kit itself doesn't include a heater, so you will have to source one of those on your own, but that's just because not everybody requires a heater, so it depends what you want to stock the aquarium with. Okay, so first of all we'll take a look at the remote. So the remote has a huge amount of options here for colors, effects and brightness, which we'll play around with those shortly. Next up we have our return pump here, nice compact little unit, and all we're going to want to do is basically drop that into the last compartment and we'll connect it up shortly. As well as that we have our knuckle valves here for the directional flow. This is going to screw into the top piece of the pump, so you take that just by holding onto the top piece here. We'll put this on the inside of the tank and we'll just screw it in like that with the wall of the inbuilt filtration in the middle. The last thing we have here is the AC adapter for our inbuilt light, which will connect up. In terms of the build materials for this kit, the front, back and sides are all glass, and the inbuilt filtration looks like to be an acrylic or plastic material. Another quality that I really like about the Fluval Flex, and it's that attention to detail that you get with this kit, is that there's a black mesh that runs along the sides and top and then over the inbuilt filtration at the back and sides. What that's going to do is just going to cover up any sort of dirt or calcium buildup, and then at the back you're going to be able to see into the filtration without it being an eyesore. So I really like that. It's a sleek and modern feature. As well as that, the back of the lid also has a raised section so that you can put all of your wires through without it getting in the way. Before I go and show you how to work the aquarium inbuilt lighting and how to adjust it and give you an idea of what it's going to look like, I'm actually going to scape out this aquarium just quickly with some low to medium light plants, because I find that when the tank is full of water, plants and soil, it's going to give you a better idea of what it's going to look like in the long term, rather than me just turning it on and showing it in this empty tank. So I'll go and grab some aquascaping supplies now, and we'll start filling out this aquarium. Okay, so I've gone ahead and threw the scape together. I've gone out through the fish room. We've got a bunch of aquatic plants in here and I've filled it out. To start at the front, we've got some Monte Carlo, which is a carpeting plant. And a lot of people think automatically carpeting plants means high light and CO2, but Monte Carlo I find is actually one of the easier growing foreground plants. So we're gonna give it a go in this flex. As well as that, we've got some crypt parva, a really nice low growing crypt, green leaves and some nice sort of long spearhead sort of foliage. Moving to the back, we've got some Alternithera renecki mini, which is a small growing red plant as well. I just wanted to test it out and see how it would go in here. It might not turn out to be that red, but we'll play it by ear. We've also got some needle leaf Java fern in there, which is just sitting for the moment, but I might have to tie it to a rock. At the back, we've got some Hygrophila polysperma pink. We've got some Crypt Wentii brown. We've got an Amazon sword, and we have some Crypt spiralis as well. So some more height at the back there, some different colors and textures. So we're just gonna sort of fill that up. I'm gonna move it out to the fish room now, put it in its place, and then we'll fill it up with water and we'll talk through the actual running of the aquarium. Alright, so we found the Fluval Flex a home out here in the fish room. We've filled it up with water and we've got it all turned on. First thing to note is it is incredibly quiet. My wife came out here to check out the tank that I've been working on, and she even said that it's stylish enough to bring into the house if I like, which is certainly not something that every fish tank that I set up has the privilege of having that option, but this one got the tick of approval. So that's very important if you are planning on setting it up in a family area of the house. As well as that, I'm pretty pleased with the power of the pumps. It seems to be putting out quite a lot of water. You can see some movement going on in there, so no concerns at all with the pump's ability to move water around. So I've been playing around with the light cycle and the remote here for my Fluval Light, so it will be a little bit blurred in the background, but I'll show you some of the modes now. First of all, we have the night mode, which is just basically a blue light spectrum. Next up, we have a storm simulator. I'm not exactly sure why you would need that. Perhaps people will theorize that it triggers spawning. There's also another third mode here, which is, it basically just rotates through the different colors of lights. I think it'd be great, you know, if you had it in an area and you had some entertainment over or something like that. You know, probably not the best for the fish. I wouldn't leave it on that all the time, but overall it's just, you know, another option that you have. Now, in terms of the actual setting up for long-term use, we have off-on for whites, off-on for colors. And I found it best to choose whatever color you want to use. My personal preference is pink, just because I found that red was a little bit too intense. Then basically you can use the plus minus buttons to select your intensity. I just go all the way up to the top. Go back to pink, but you can select any of these colors here that you like: red, green, blue, red, different green, different blue, and so on and so forth. So I find it better to just select the color first of all and the intensity of that color before turning on the whites, and then you just turn on the whites and select the intensity of the whites. Like I can turn the whites down and the whites up, and you can do that with the color as well. So really straightforward remote, really easy to use, and I don't think that anybody should really have any troubles navigating their way around this. So I have been pleased with testing out the light cycles and the light modes. I've just got it hooked into a timer here, which I'll demonstrate whether the light actually holds its memory. So we've got it set as it is there. We'll turn it off and back on. So then, as an experiment, let's turn off the white. We've just got our pink, turn it off and back on, and it's pink. So you can easily hook this up to a timer and it will remember the setting that you choose to use. To get it started, I just put some water in there from my rainwater tank, and then I just put some of this Fluval biological enhancer, just some bacteria to sort of get it started. Though I have no intentions of really trying to fast track the cycle in this aquarium. I'm gonna take it slow. We're just gonna, have fun with it. The good thing is that there is so much room in those back panels there. So I wanted to run you through the extra goodies that Fluval sent me when I ordered this tank. First of all, they sent some extra refills for both carbon and biological media, and there's so much space in there, there's absolutely no reason you couldn't just chuck some extra ceramic rings in the corner there, and then when you go to set up your next aquarium, you'll have some cycled media ready to go. So I'm really stoked about that. Typically, I don't use carbon all the time, although it is really handy if you do have maybe some tannins from some driftwood, you've got something in there that's just putting out a bit of a weird smell or a weird color. I find that carbon is really good for clearing up the water quality, and especially if you know that you're gonna have a lot of people around, like if visitors were gonna come around for a little period of time, like a few weeks, then I might just go and throw a carbon packet into the filter just to make sure everything's looking spick and span. It is important to know that carbon doesn't last forever, and it will basically lose its chemical filtration properties after about a month, so you'll need to basically dispose of it at that point in time. Next up, we've got this beautiful big bow front glass aquarium, so we are going to want to maintain that. So I was stoked that Fluval sent me a magnet cleaner that you can see here. So let's crack this open and take a look. So this here is the Fluval magnet clean here. And this is pretty interesting. So we've got a piece of cotton here connected to the inside magnet, and what we want to do is take out this green section here, and we're going to put this cotton actually through the hole in this. So I've gone ahead now and I've tied the string to this green piece here that slots nicely into the cleaner on the front of the glass, and I'll show you how it's going to work from here. Now, as you can see, we've got the cleaner on the inside and the outside of the glass. So we take that green piece out now and just throw it in the tank. Go ahead and clean all these oxygen bubbles off, which it's doing a fantastic job of that. It's a nice strong magnet as well. Except let's just say we got a bit clumsy and let go. Well, that's really annoying now because that inside cleaner has now sunk down into our aquarium, so we're going to have to get our whole forearm wet and collect it out. Well, we are lucky that we tied that fishing line here, because this green piece of plastic here is actually a floating retrieval device, and look at that. Super easy. I really like that idea. It's simple but effective. Now we can just connect it back in and we're good to go for next time. So I think that's pretty clever, and I'm pretty stoked with that idea there. I noticed that they also did send me another type of magnet cleaner. So maybe we're past that sort of brown diatom phase where it's pretty easy to scrape off, but now we're starting to get some green spot algae, something a bit harder that is not coming off the glass as easy. Well, we do have here the Fluval Razor Plus 2-in-1, and I think I'm really going to like this idea. So the Fluval Razor is a really low profile magnet cleaner. Super tiny. It'll fit in any tank. Even you should be able to put it just in the feeding corner of most tanks. One side is going to have sort of that coarse material that's going to clean that easier stuff. On the other side we have this metal scraper here. So what we'll do is we'll just pop that in the tank now. It is not a floating cleaner, so I'll just attach the other end to it, and you can go along, you're scraping down all that really hard to reach algae, and then I believe you should just be able to flip it up and it flips over. So now you can use that coarse sponge side. And now we're coming up against some really tough stuff again. Flip it down again, and it flips over, and we're ready to go again. Really like that idea. Once again, it's a really nice strong magnet, and I think that's going to go really well paired with a Fluval Flex aquarium. So thanks for sending me that. So now that our aquarium is nice and clean, we've got the glass looking spick and span, it is important to know exactly what's going on in our water chemistry. So they did also include this Fluval test kit here, which is going to test everything we need to know, including pH, ammonia, nitrite and nitrate. This can be used in fresh or salt water, so really convenient and something that everybody should have. It comes in this handy tray here with some easy to read charts, so I'm really stoked with that, and thanks again Fluval for sending me this test kit. I would definitely recommend any beginners to have a test kit. Don't just rely on your fish store giving you the results. And last but not least, every beginner aquarium also needs a gravel vac. This one here is particularly good because it has a bulb syringe, so you don't need to suck on it. There's no drinking fish tank water. And it also has a control valve too, so you can slow that flow right down if you really want to give the gravel a thorough vacuuming. If you find that the water's just getting out of there far too quickly, then you might want to slow it down just to make sure that you make your way all around the aquarium. So there you go guys, I've got it all assembled now. So you get two choices in tube length here, whether you've got shorter aquariums or longer ones. As you can see, the adjustable flow valve here is really easy to manage. You can just do it one-handed while you're siphoning. We've got a one-way bulb syringe here. So just like a check valve, it'll only allow air to escape through here, which means that your siphon's going to get started nice and easily. Then we've got a decent length of tubing here, so we'll be able to put it on a bucket. On that topic, another thing that I really like is this, that it's a secure tube holder for the attachment on the side of a bucket. How often does it happen that we're here doing a gravel vac, not paying attention, and we haven't noticed that the end of our hose wasn't in the bucket, and now we've got wet carpet to deal with? Well, something like this, you know, it seems like a little thing, but it can be so helpful for particularly beginners once you get out there. And yeah, I just think that all of these things are really critical to having success with your first aquarium or your 100th aquarium. I'm really excited that Fluval included these products so that I could talk through the benefits to you guys. So with everything in mind, there was just one further thing that I wanted to do to upgrade this Fluval Flex, and it was a very minor thing, but something that can potentially save a life, a fish life that is. So the feeding hole is located up there. It's quite narrow and long, so there is a low chance that fish will be able to jump out of there. But nevertheless, I do own a 3D printer, so I did decide just to print this feeding hole lid. I put my own logo on it because why not? And that just slots nicely into the feeding cover there. This is freely available on Thingiverse. If you have a 3D printer or you know someone with one, you can really conveniently print one of those off. Otherwise, I'd just probably jam some sponge in there just to make sure that nothing's going to jump out of there. Outside of that, I do genuinely think that this is the perfect starting kit aquarium for anyone to pick up. It isn't the cheapest kit available, but what it is high quality. It's going to last you a long time. It's going to allow you to grow with it, and it gives you some options to sort of you know, build upon over time. Overall, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you've got any further questions at all about the setup or running of this aquarium, be sure to drop them down below. Also, if you're keen to see how this aquarium progresses over time, be sure to hit that subscribe button, because I'll do a 1-month follow-up of how this aquarium is going, so be sure to follow for that. Other than that guys, it always helps me out to smash like, hit subscribe and all that fun stuff, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.